Coach, the team will hold a moment of silence today for Richie Adebayo. Did you have any memories of him and the impact he had on this organization?
Well, you know the impact he had on this organization, and you know my heart and our condolences go out to his family. We were never able to cross paths, but you know I know his son Adam. We text back and forth the other day, and just what he's meant to this organization, what he's meant to the game, just his spirit, his energy, his knowledge of the game, so many things that he's just continued to represent, you know, over 4 decades in the game.
You know, turning to basketball, we've seen your team, you know, do a better job of moving the ball recently. With Paolo and the attention he's commanding and spraying out from the paint, how impactful has he been with his unselfishness and willing to do that?
You can't say enough about him and his ability to create for others. The draw he's had in every night, guys coming at him. We just got done watching film in there with the team, just 3 guys coming at him each time he touches the basketball, swarming the defense loaded, and he's making the right play, trying to find the right read. Guys are finding the right spaces on the floor to get to so they're able to knock those feet set threes down.
Jamal, when you've talked about rotations and lineups in games, you mentioned the feel of the game, but what needs to happen for Jace to see the floor more consistently?
Yeah, I think that's just going to come over time. I think that's a big portion of it. You know, you saw some time, you know, there was a moment in the Philly game. There was a moment in the, you know, a couple times on a back-to-back. Those will be moments for him to get in the game. And it's just going to continue to, he stays ready, continues to work. And that's what it's going to have to continue to look like for somebody, you know, stepping in for their first year.
Early in the season, we've talked a lot about kind of just trusting the process and having faith in what you guys are doing. But how important is a result like Friday night to kind of give proof to what you guys are working on and what it can look like?
You know, I like to think that we just stay with the process regardless of that result. You know, we don't want to go with the highs and the lows. I think the process is, did we do the right things? And the numbers may say it at times, and sometimes it doesn't. But I think if we can continue to focus on making the right play, the open man gets the basketball, am I in the right spot? We watched film just a moment ago as a staff, and then with the team, understanding that things happen because guys were in the right spot, because they understood how we had to push the pace, the stops that we need to get in order to get out and run and convert on the other end. When they put 2 people on the basketball, are we making the right play? Those are all process pieces. And now if that shot goes in or not, you know, you just have to look at, was it the right process? And that's what we're continuing to do.
We saw Noah play some, get into games there on that road trip, and his minutes have been up and down, fluctuated some, but just what have you liked about the minutes that you have seen from him?
I mean, he possesses a toughness, being able to guard multiple positions. Offensively, just versatile as well, being able to push it, attack downhill, you know, stepping into a shot with confidence. But just his ability to guard multiple positions is a big key for him.
We talked a little bit about Paolo getting so much attention in the paint and also just trying to increase pace and whatnot. What is the idea possibly of playing Paolo maybe at the 5 and getting maybe a different shooter out there? How have there been conversations along those lines, and how would that look in your opinion?
No, as coaches, we don't discuss anything like that. We don't go over all options. Yeah, there's been that thought, especially with a small team as in Boston, that could be a possibility as well, to free him up in some ways where the double teams can't come and you put shooting all around him. Those are always options. Those are always things to put on the table.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
On the air, and until Dewberry tells me otherwise, I'm going to let it rip. What's up, everybody? Jay Curb's ready for me. Says Magic fans link up in the building. We held it down Friday night. Let's keep the green folks upset in the Kia Kingdom. Love it. Jay Curb, loving that energy. And what's up, everybody? Jake Chapman here with you. I'm up on the radio deck, and we're getting set for a Sunday affair. Let's see if we can get 2 against these Boston Celtics. How fun was that on Friday night? I think you saw the vision on Friday, a 123-110 win. Magic come out and storm the Celtics, 38 points in the first quarter, and then kind of quiet in quarters 2 and 3 offensively. But you finished with a flourish, 39 points in the fourth on Friday night, and you send the Celtics away with an L. And now this little baseball series comes to a conclusion here tonight. We'll see the Portland Trail Blazers tomorrow. So a busy weekend here at Kia Center. But, boy, I think, I like the question that Phil asked in that press conference, and I liked Coach Mosley's answer even better. But just kind of like, did you need to see that? Did you need to see the results against a good team like Boston? Kind of the offensive flow that you saw on Friday night. I think Magic fans needed to see it to be sure. For Coach Mosley, the answer is not necessarily, because we're about process. We know the result will follow if we continue this process and if we continue detailing our work, as Coach Mosley always says. With that said, I think just to kind of get on board with all the conversations we've had at the beginning of the season, the acquisition, obviously, of Desmond Bane, and kind of where this team is and where they can be, and the stuff we were talking about on Friday night, how easy is it going to be to clean up some of these issues, the free throws, the turnovers, et cetera, et cetera. Bottom line is the Magic over the last 4 games have been one of the best offensive teams in the league. It's a matter of kind of marrying the style from years past, the solid defense, and this new pace-driven offense and the new roles that guys are playing offensively. But it looked really good the other night, and I think you're going to continue to see it trend forward, especially in the case of Desmond Bane. I thought that was the best game we saw Desmond play. The other night he looked comfortable. I think each night we're seeing more and more of some of the optionality you have offensively with Desmond Bane. Coach Mosley talking in that press conference just then about all of the attention being paid to Paolo Banchero. That's not going away, right? Paolo is going to draw that kind of attention, especially from good defensive teams. And this is the best defensive team in the league. And Paolo had a quiet offensive night, quote unquote, scoring the basketball, 4 of 10 from the field. But everybody else got involved. And I think that's the big key. When you have Paolo Banchero night in and night out, he's not going to be able to give you 30 a night. But if he's drawing 2 to the ball and guys are hitting open shots around him, that's the vision. That's exactly what Desmond Bane is here for. That's what we were begging for all of last season. And we have to keep in mind all of the good things that Paolo is doing right now elsewhere on the floor. He is a 7 rebound a game career grabber. He's got 9.4 rebounds per game right now. As far as shot blocking goes, he came in averaging about a half a block per game. He's up over a block per game right now. So he's giving you some of the other little things that you ask for defensively, cleaning the glass up, and then he's drawing all the attention that frees up guys like Jalen Suggs to knock down 4 threes the other night, like Desmond Bane to give you 22 points and 7 assists the other night. A lot of the playmaking was running through Desmond the other night. And then Franz Wagner, I mean, he's just so damn consistent night in and night out. It's pretty remarkable that Franz, regardless of the attention being paid to him, being paid to Paolo, he's delivering it night in and night out. The percentages look fantastic. He's up around 50% shooting for the season. He's one of only 7 guys in the league, Franz Wagner, right now averaging 22 points a game, shooting 49% from the field, and grabbing you a steal per night. What Franz brings offensively, we know what Franz brings defensively. I think people tend to forget about. He's one of the reasons we have one of the best defenses in the league. So I think you saw it all kind of come together the other night. Now it's just a matter of doing it more consistently. Just because you made your threes the other night, just because you scored 120-plus points on the Boston Celtics, doesn't mean that's going to happen night in and night out. And this is a Magic team that needs to keep, sort of fine-tuning and sharpening exactly what we're seeing. Last 4 games, the Magic are 9th in the league in offensive rating. 7th in offensive rating, 120.1 points per 100 possessions. They're 10th in three-point shooting. The Orlando Magic, over 4 games, shooting just under 39% from the field. That is 10th in the National Basketball Association. They're also 3rd in true shooting and 6th in effective field goal percentage. Those are kind of nerd stats, but they're catch-alls as far as how well you're shooting the basketball. And this is turning into a very efficient offensive team right now. The march to the free throw line is going to be there every night, it seems like. Your tops in the league, 32.4 free throws attempted per game. Right now, you are 23rd in free throw percentage. You get that up over 77, 78%, you're talking about another couple points per night. Keep the turnovers down, and we're cooking with gas. I mean, it's a team that, and still, we had all those conversations at the beginning of the year about how if the offense looks good, what does that mean for the defense? Well, the defense has been pretty solid all in. Right now, you're 9th in defensive rating overall, and I think you're trending in the right direction in that regard as well. We know the defensive backbone is going to be there. Now it's just a matter of kind of putting it all together, and it felt like we were able to put it all together the other night. Jake Chapman here with you. I'm up on the radio deck. We're getting set for a 6 o'clock start here tonight at Kia Center. We just heard from Jamal Mosley. Got Kyle Cassandra in the house. He is dressed in a very natty-looking garb there. Is that for Richie Adubato right there? Well done, well done. I didn't mention this on the stream the other night. I did at the top of the radio broadcast. We lost Richie Adubato on Friday night, and anybody who's familiar with Magic Radio is very familiar with Richie Adubato. 15 years, he was our color analyst. I was the kid in his ear for 8 of those years. He was working with Dennis Newman. He obviously was formerly an assistant coach under Brian Hill. He was the interim head coach in 1997, that awesome 5-game playoff series in the opening round with the Miami Heat. Richie was an absolute one-of-one type of cat. I mean, he was an original. He lived, slept, breathed basketball, absolutely loved Orlando, absolutely loved hoops, absolutely loved flashy ties and suits, and absolutely loved talking hoops with people and storytelling, and we're certainly going to miss Richie Adubato. So appreciate anybody who reached out, and he had fans and admirers and listeners all over Central Florida, and certainly we're all going to miss Richie, and our thoughts and prayers are, as always, with Carol and with Richie's kids. We're certainly going to miss Richie Adubato. He was an absolute original character, and for sure one of one. Okay, let's get back to hoops. I want to check out some of these comments here. We've got Jay Kerr. Franz is a winner. I say we flow through him until PJ Suggs and DB3 get going. Look, the offense, Jamal Mosley talks always about just playing basketball, and that's about just getting yourself a 2-on-1 or a matchup that you like, and not having to be so conscious about it, just flowing and playing the game. A quick little pick and roll, a quick little give and go, quick little mouse in the house, you dump it down with a matchup that you like. And that's what I think we need to get to. It's not a matter, especially when you're talking about playing early offense and getting out and going, it's not a matter of who the offense is flowing through necessarily. It's a matter of who has the best matchup. And it's a matter of what side of the floor do you have an imbalance on. And that's what we're hunting for right now. And I think you saw that the other night. I think you saw all the attention paid to Paolo. Means the offense is going to flow a little bit more through Desmond Bane and through Franz. And that might look different tomorrow night, depending on how Portland decides to defend you. But the bottom line is right now, Coach Mosley has more options than he did a year ago at this time, and especially with the way Franz and Paolo are playing, with the efficiency numbers that Franz is playing with right now, and with Paolo's march to the free throw line anytime he's got a matchup in front of him that he can feast on, and then with guys knocking down shots around Paolo as the attention is paid to him. That's what you're looking for offensively. So I don't think it needs to be any decision, okay, here's our point guard, okay, we're going to run through this guy night in and night out. It's a matter of night to night, where's your best matchup, and do you have the optionality offensively to play that matchup? And I think right now you're seeing everybody step up and play their specific roles. You're seeing Wendell Carter Jr. knock down open shots when he has the opportunity. He's shooting 50% from three-point range, for crying out loud, and over 50% from the field. I think you're seeing Anthony Black contribute offensively. His percentages look really good. He dished out 4 assists the other night. AB is at 48% shooting. You're talking about a career 44% shooter. And then, oh, by the way, I know Jalen's only playing 19 minutes a game, but this guy is a 50-40-90 shooter right now. 55% from the field, 44.8 from long range, and he's up over 90% at the free throw line. In less than 20 minutes a night, Jalen Suggs is giving you the complete Jalen Suggs experience, and he's more efficient than he's ever been. And so I think you can look deeply into that. What does that look like? If he plays 25, 30 minutes a night, no, I don't expect him to go 50, 40, 90. But he is doing a whole bunch of Jalen-type things. He's still grabbing you over 6 deflections per 36 minutes. He's still defending with exactly the ferocity that you expect from Jalen Suggs. But now he's knocking down open shots in a very, very efficient manner. And so I think once you sort of extrapolate that out a little bit, that's only going to help this offense even more. So the offense at this point is coming together. I think you're starting to see it. You're starting to see it pop a little bit. Now it's just a matter of, like we said the other night, just sort of cleaning up some of the smaller areas, some of the turnovers, and some of the, I guess, careless mistakes that always kind of come when you try to push the pace up a little bit. But it's starting to click, to be sure, for this Magic team. As for this Boston group, you let Jaylen Brown get going the other night, and he did. He finished the other night with 32 points in 36 minutes. He was 15 of 28 from the floor, but he was just 1 of 6 from three-point range. And I thought that was the big key in that game. Look, Boston is going to continue jacking threes. You ran them off the three-point line, which is something that takes them out of their comfort zone, period, which, in my opinion, is one of the reasons we've had success against this team going back over the last 2 seasons or so. So they got 37 up, which is actually 10 off of their pace. They usually shoot 47 a night, and they made 13 threes. That is a way, basically, the way I understood it was the Magic said, Jaylen Brown shooting long twos, we'll live with those. And he made a whole bunch of them. He made 36 points worth, or 32 points worth. But if Jaylen Brown gets rolling from 3, and if we start to send 2 toward Jaylen Brown and his teammates start knocking down threes, that's the way that Boston wants to beat us, and we're not going to let that happen. And I thought you saw it the other night. And at times during the third quarter, as Brown was getting to his spot, the elbow jumper, knocking him down time and time again, you're going, okay, are you going to make an adjustment here? But credit Coach Mosley for sticking with the game plan. And I think, look, you can live with Jaylen Brown getting his 32. You know, what you can't live with is another, 40, 50 combined points from Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, and another 8 made threes from those 2 guys. White was 1 of 6 from three-point range. Pritchard got going. He made 5 of them. But you can't let both of those guys get rolling, and you can't let the Celtics make a whole bunch of threes on top of what Jaylen Brown is going to bring offensively. And I thought that was kind of the game plan the other night, and it worked out when all was said and done. So let's see if you can repeat it here tonight. It's obviously a huge game. We see these guys again in Boston at the end of the month in November, and then last game of the year, actually. It's November 23rd we'll be in Boston, and then on April 12th, we'll see the Celtics again for game number 82. So if you could take a 2-0 season series lead against these guys, you obviously already got the Emirates NBA Cup win out of the way the other night, plus a plus 13 as far as the differential goes, so you're feeling good about that. But it's a Boston team that I fully expect to be hanging around 500 and in the playoff race in the Eastern Conference for most of the season. So a win tonight would certainly go a long way, for one thing, to making you feel good kind of about what you're doing here, getting yourself back to 500, but beating a good defensive team twice, I think at the very least would sort of lock in the vision offensively and what this thing can look like long term. But then, as far as the standings go right now, you're in the 10 seed, and Boston's in the 11 seed in the Eastern Conference. So all these games certainly are going to be important. And then the last thing to think about is Jalen Suggs. Will he be available tomorrow night against a pretty good Portland team? They got beat last night by Miami, led up 136 points, but they've been kind of a surprise early on in the season. Will you have Jalen tomorrow night? Are you going to be shorthanded in that game? And so what does that look like? So you got to get certainly one of these games. I feel like if you get 2 of them and sweep this 3-game homestand, you'll be feeling really good about yourself. But big game here tonight. See if you can come back, kind of playoff series type baseball series with this Boston team. You know they're going to have adjustments. Joe Mazzulla is one of the best coaches in the league. How do you react on the fly to some of the new stuff you're looking at defensively with these guys? And are you able to come out with another win tonight? Because I think that would certainly go a very long way. Jake Chapman here with you. It is the Orlando Magic Audio Network. If you want to check out our broadcast tonight, we'll be on at 5:30, beginning with Brandon Kravitz. Magic Tonight, the pregame show, and then we'll have the opening tap at 6 o'clock. You can listen to us here in Central Florida on 96.9 The Game, our flagship station. We're also available streaming on the iHeart Orlando app or on the Orlando Magic app. And then outside of the listening area, you can lock us in on Sirius XM or on NBA League Audio Pass. Jake Chapman here with you. We'll send you back down to the floor. Thanks, guys. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey.
Colombia, Africa, Caribbean, honeydew, whipping out Abels, no condiments, from Barranquilla, no argument, she going hard like a gallo, don't care what they say, hella fight, no, I'm chilling with babe with my eyes closed, got the champagne with my blindfolds, I'm on your flight in Miami, shopping and tripping with Mosley, the family, try top when I try down, like the hella savage like I'm Randy, I'm on 1,000, living my life like I don't get no hoots about plan B's, my life something like a Tahoe, yours something like a Camry, yeah.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Welcome to Courtside Countdown, presented by Hard Rock Bet. I'm Kendra Douglas, and thank you guys for joining us. Oh my gosh, Magic fans. One, it feels so good to be back in the Kia Center. Two, it feels so good to see the Magic get that amazing win against Boston to start the NBA Cup. I know you guys are excited. I'm looking at the comments now. I'm seeing everything you're all saying. I love what Jay Curve says. Franz is going to be locked in tonight after the energy from the other night. No doubt about it. I expect a great game from these guys throughout tonight, especially with them wanting to continue to find that continuity between each other. Looking forward to that. I love the comments continuing to come in. Make sure you guys continue to keep those comments going so I can interact with you and we can talk about this upcoming game. So let's get to this upcoming game. Tonight's game will be on FanDuel Sports Network. Your home for the Orlando Magic. Tip-off at 6 p.m. against the Boston Celtics. But let's recap the other game, you know, the one with the NBA Cup with them taking on the Boston Celtics again. Now, this game, of course, it was definitely a moment where you're looking at this game and you're like, all right, this Magic team, they gotta somehow lock in and get into this one. And they sure did. So, how did they get this one done? Franz Wagner, he led 7 players in double figures, finishing with 27 points on the night. Desmond Bane finished with 22 points on the night, including going 5 of 8 from three-point range. And it's so good to continue to see him get into a groove, really find his position and his move with this team. That's what you really want to see with these guys. And it's going to continue. He's going to want to have another good performance to capitalize off that Boston performance. I want to get to more things that you guys are saying. Continue to keep the comments going. Continue to keep the chat going right now. Let me make sure I see all the messages that you guys are sending. Let me see. Let's go Magic. And, oh, I like this one. I think we learned to push through more, even when calls. Oh, wait, you guys. I think we have a really cool moment. Is this the stuff in space? Wait, we have to show you guys. Wait, come. This is so cool. I saw this a second ago, and I wanted to make sure we get more. We had to get this. So this was, tell me a little bit about it.
Talk to Sharon.
Okay, sure. Tell me a little bit about stuff in space.
So Mark and I have been to space not once, but twice. And on our last mission, we took stuff. And so he was the perfect crewmate, did everything great, but then he was having fun. I saw him do somersaults through the cabin capsule.
I love that. I love that stuff got to go to space.
Now the first Dragonaut in the history of humanity.
No way. I love that.
There are no other Dragonauts anywhere.
That's so cool. And our fans get to see this because we are live right now on all our social media channels. So all of the fans get to see that stuff got to go to space. How cool is that?
So stuff flew to space.
Stuff flew to space. How exciting is it to kind of be here and show that and show this moment?
And I will tell you, once you go to space, you'll want to go back.
Really? Okay. I love that. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I thought that was so cool. I saw them earlier. I heard that they were coming today. And so when I saw that, I was like, wait, we have to get this. So stuff went to space, guys. The best mascot. Yes, right there. Shalisa just said it. The best mascot. Stuff is the GOAT. Yes. I love that he got to go to space. So back to this last game. That was so cool. Back to this last game. Let's talk about Franz Wagner and his performance. You already saw the comments saying that Franz is looking locked in, ready to perform going into this game. And he was. He had a great performance. And I believe when you look at what he was able to do, I mean, like I mentioned, he helped facilitate. He helped find the open man. The Magic overall, they dished out 28 assists. And Franz Wagner, I mean, he was definitely a big reason to see a lot of these guys get some of those points. He had 6 assists from the night, had 15 points in the first half of the game, perfect at the line, which I think is huge for this team because as we saw, these guys, they want to get to the line. It's just about making those shots. So to see him be perfect at the line and make those shots, I think that's huge for this Magic squad, getting those points on the board. And especially with a cup game, too, you want to start out aggressive, but also you need those points later on when you're talking about the standings. So overall, you got to love the performance that you saw from him. And we were just talking about Desmond Bane. he is another guy. We're wanting to see so much from him. We're wanting to see him find his gel, find his groove. One thing I really liked about Desmond Bane, well, actually, one thing I really liked about what the team said, Franz Wagner mentioned after the game that they got to do a better job as a unit to find him and feature him as much as they can in situations that fit his game. I love that he said that, because you have a guy coming in and he's really trying to figure out how to gel in with this team, but it also is part of the team's job to figure out how to highlight his features. That's the reason why we brought him over, was to highlight his features and highlight what he's doing. So 22 points for him on the night. Also dishing it out, 7 assists for him. And so I think that speaks a lot about him continuing to find his rhythm, find his groove. That's going to be important going into tonight's game. That's going to be important as they continue for the Magic, continue to progress. You got this game coming up. You got Portland tomorrow as well. Another back-to-back. I hope that we are getting these back-to-backs out early. That's what I'm really hoping, because this Magic team, they've had their hand dealt with a couple back-to-backs in this one. So I'm really hoping that that's the goal. All right, let's get to some comments that you guys are saying as we welcome our second member of Courtside Countdown, presented by Hard Rock Bet, Dan Savage. Dan, we're back.
I don't know how I top space stuff.
I know. Wasn't that cool? I thought that was
pretty cool.
so neat. I thought that was so neat. All right, I want to get to some of the comments before we start talking about this matchup. Last game was good, and don't let it get close like the last half, okay? That's a good comment right there. And this one, J Curve, Desmond Bane wants to do good for the team, and you can see it, but, you know, everything has to click. I was just mentioning about Desmond Bane. One thing I really liked that Franz Wagner said after the game was they have to figure out as a unit to feature him and to feature just his ability. And you can tell that Desmond is definitely a team player, and he wants to fit in with this squad. But it does say something of these guys kind of have to take a step back, too, and be like, you know what? We got to feature what highlights you as well, because that's why we brought you over.
No question. You know, a lot of guys approach fitting in with a new team 2 different ways. You see some guys try to force everything to justify their impact, and Desmond has not done that. Instead, he's tried to fit into the Magic brand of basketball, which is trade a good pass or a good shot for a better shot. And he's really exemplified that, and I think that's really rubbed off well on his teammates, and it's why when he speaks to the group, his voice carries so much weight. So I think with Desmond, it's only going to start to feel more and more natural. We saw a lot in the last couple games, them featuring a 2-4 pick and roll with Paolo Banchero, and that's become a point of emphasis. They've gotten a lot of success off that. So I think as the season goes along, we'll see more and more different offensive sets that are featured that help get Desmond going. But in the meantime, just his spacing alone does wonders, and I think that's helped Paolo, Franz, etc. get better looks.
Yeah, he's averaging a little bit more than 14 points a game, and that's what you want to see from a guy like that. But also I think what's important, too, is even if he's not getting those 3 shots that we're seeing, he's finding a way to get to the basket. That's important, making sure that he's still contributing in so many ways. And also, we were mentioning the assist. Not only is Franz getting in on the dishing out and Desmond, but Paolo is as well. So, you know, you hear passing from good to great with these guys. How important has ball movement been for these guys, especially when we talk about pacing? I feel like that word is going to be like a word we're like, we don't want to use it anymore because we get it. People feel some type of way. But how important is that when it comes to the pace of this game?
No question. You want to be moving the basketball. And for the Orlando Magic, they've won 3 of their last 4 games. And in all of those games, they've had 25 or more assists.
Yeah.
So there's definite correlation there with proper ball movement and good success. I think what Magic head coach Jamal Mosley would like is that ball movement comes with lower turnovers. And I think as watching the practices, what he's really trying to get this group to understand is while you're unfamiliar with each other and there are new pieces in the lineup, where you are on the floor, your spacing, your physical placement is so important, because guys aren't used to what's second nature for some. Like Paolo and Franz could pass to each other with their eyes closed. They played so many sets to each other. But Jalen's been in and out of the lineup. He didn't play a lot of last season. Desmond's new to the group.
Yeah.
Tyus Jones is fitting in. And so with those type of guys, making sure spacing on the floor and you are where you're supposed to be is so important at this stage, because otherwise guys are driving into the paint, looking for the spray out pass, and they're turning it over because the guy's not where they're supposed to be.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's so important right now, is getting into those fine details of being where you're supposed to be on the court at all times.
They sure are. And I want to say, you guys, don't forget to lock in. Give us some comments. What do you want to see tonight? What do you want to see from the guys tonight? You guys have you saw an incredible game the other night in the NBA Cup. So continue to keep the comments going on all our social media platforms. I'm trying to get to all of them as much as I can. So keep talking for us. Keep talking to us.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I think someone is here. Look to your left. I think a Magic fan is here trying to say hi to them. Maybe. I'm not doing a great job. I know. Can you wave, Magic fan, that's here watching a Courtside Countdown? And
That's awesome.
I know that is really, really cool, but like, I don't know. You got to wave to us. That's neat. I love that. I love that. Okay, back to this game. I just mentioned Paolo Banchero because we were talking about just how well he's been doing and finding the open man. You saw a lot of that on the road trip. I mean, it felt like he is finding ways that when he is double teamed, that he is finding ways to get guys open and for them to be able to knock down shots. What do you like about that, adding that to his game? Because I think that says a lot, too, about his unselfishness.
No, one thing we've seen from Paolo Banchero early in his career is he's going to command attention on the floor.
Yeah.
He's such a powerful, big guy that he's almost impossible to guard one-on-one. And that's why when you look at double team percentages, his is amongst the highest in the NBA because teams are trying to take him out of the equation. But where Paolo is doing such a great job of when he gets downhill is spraying out and finding open teammates. And I think as time goes along, whether that's a true assist or a hockey assist, he's going to rack up a lot of open shots for his teammates. And on top of that, he's done a great job of getting to the free throw line as a result of those drives as well, and why his free throw rate is amongst the best in the NBA. So we're seeing Paolo be very assertive early on, and as he does that and as the conditioning comes along as we get into this season, we've seen Paolo growth only continue to ratchet up. And so I think this is setting the table for what's going to be a great season for Paolo.
I completely agree with you. Let's get some of these comments real quick. Because I do want to talk about Wendell. Dez and Wendell are being physical and allowing space for slashing for Franz and Jalen. We just got to figure out P's place. I like that. You know what the thing is? I think P's trying to figure out his place, but I think in general, everyone's trying to figure out their place with this team. And that's why I say, like, I liked what Jason Beatty had said about you, or what Coach Mosley had said to Beatty about you have rough drafts. You have different drafts until finally it comes together. That's what I took away from that. And I think he's right. You have new guys on this team. Everyone's trying to figure out their place. Everyone's trying to figure out what's going to happen, how they can find that consistency. So I think, you like the drafts that were coming up and seeing.
No question, because you look at throughout history, and whether it was KD joining the Warriors, who had already won 72 games, whether it's LeBron and Chris Bosh going to Miami, when you add star players, it's even harder to integrate because those guys are used to having the ball in a high usage rate. So if you look at Desmond Bane's numbers in Memphis last year, he was the starting point guard when Ja Morant was out for various reasons through a number of stretches and was used to having the ball and being a secondary or primary playmaker. And so in Orlando, a lot of times that may be Paolo, that may be Franz, that may be Jalen. You have four guys all capable of coming up and taking the basketball, and we're not going to see the best version of this team until probably, March or April. But that's when you want to be playing your best basketball.
Exactly.
So if you could ratchet up a number of wins along the way while doing that, I think that'll be a good thing, and I think that's the pace that this team's on now, having won 3 of their last 4.
We got Paolo Banchero warming up behind us, looking to get those shots in for this game. So that's exciting that we're getting talking about him as well. Some of the other comments we're getting, there's so much to talk about, Dan. Do we have enough time? One of the things also, AB and Tristan are playing so well so far this season. Players like that are critical if this team wants to go far. Yes, it was so interesting because you and I were just talking about AB and Tristan and their performance. I mean, my goodness, we talk about guys and their trajectory, but I mean, AB and Tristan have continued to grow and continue to just develop in the ways that you want to see fit for this team.
Look, when AB is aggressive defensively and keeping in front of his man as a point of attack defender, he creates nightmares for the opposition. And we saw that with him coming up with some big steals down the stretch, one off a Magic turnover that he then caused a subsequent steal scored at the basket late in the fourth quarter.
and that was such a turning point in the game. Tristan, on the other hand, has just been a reliable three-point shooter off the bench. His relocation shooting has been phenomenal. He's a guy that is really developing to his role, and we're seeing that confidence and success from Eurobasket truly carry over.
I think that was so important. I know that, with these seasons, they can go long. You ask yourself, is that really worth it? But I got to say, I think it was very instrumental in his development. It really was. I think also it brought out a level of confidence for him too. And I think that's huge. So AB averaging a little bit more than 11 points per game. Tristan averaging a little bit more than 11 points per game as well so far. Those two guys, you want to see them do well, and you want to when you first saw them, you're like, all right, we see glimpses of this.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing consistency from them, and I think that's huge when you're talking about a team that wants to go far in the postseason.
No, if they play at the level they've flashed early in the season consistently, you're talking about the Magic pushing up to a different tier of team. And if you have those type of guys where AB is causing havoc on opposing teams' backcourts and at the same time scoring at a sizable rate, and Tristan coming off the bench and shooting a high percentage from three while also doing a solid job defensively, you have a depth, and you could change games with your bench unit. And we've seen with teams past, when your bench can change games and give an advantage to your starters, that is so huge, because so many teams in the NBA are just trying to tread water when their bench units come in. If our bench could become that type of strength where they're flipping games, that could be huge, especially on nights where some of the star players don't have it going.
No, especially on a back-to-back night. Because, like the Magic, they have a back-to-back
We'll
tomorrow.
be talking about those guys against Portland.
right.
No doubt.
Like, that's the thing. You're like, all right, they're probably going to lean on guys like that a little bit more just to give the other guys a little bit of a rest. So Will Dawson said, Will Dawson, he said he loved your point about the KD and LeBron joining existing squads. So it is important when you talk about the continuity and how those can grow. This is interesting. Noah should play tonight just for size and IQ purpose, because this team does the little things that he can counteract. What has stood out to you so far about Noah's performance and the minutes he has gotten?
Yeah, the one thing that Noah does when he comes on the floor is he's active.
Yeah.
You feel his presence. He's not a guy, when you look down at the stat sheet and he played 5 or 6 minutes, you're like, oh, that guy got in the game. No, you know when Noah Penda gets in the game because he's extremely active. What he is learning as a rookie is the pace of the NBA game.
That's difficult.
When to be aggressive, when not to be, because a lot of star players in this league, they'll use your aggressiveness against you and try to bait you into fouls. And I think Noah, that's gotten the best of him at occasion early in this season, but there's no question he's won the faith of Magic head coach Jamal Mosley, because if you put him in the game, you know you're going to feel his presence. And that's hard for a lot of rookies to do, but it's something that comes naturally for him.
It's so interesting that you say that he's understanding the pace of this league, because as we know, he hasn't had to play in this in the NBA one, but also he's played in Europe. He's played with the French teams, and that's different. The pace is different. The style of play is different. So I think it is an adjustment in some ways of him trying to figure out how to now play at this level, not only at this level, but the style of play here in America.
Yeah, and no question, you go from being a guy who could be featured at times in your league to playing along other star players. Your roles can change.
Yep.
So all that's a factor, but I think the good part about Noah is whatever role you assign to him, he will fully embrace and try to play to, and I think that's why he's been rewarded with court time early in his career, is because he embodies embracing your role.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing for a lot of rookies to grasp.
It sure is. Let's talk about this Boston squad, too, because, yes, we know that Tatum is out, and we know that they're down, but they're still an aggressive team. You talk about Jaylen Brown, what he's been able to do for that team, carrying them on their back. What have you liked, or what have you noticed about how he's been able to really execute and help this Boston team in ways that, Tatum was kind of possibly helping out?
Yeah, the one thing about Jaylen Brown that was obvious from watching him on TV, but even becomes more noticeable watching him in person, is he is a mid-range demon. With a lot of guys, you either want to run them off the line and then try to prevent them from getting to the basket. But Jaylen Brown right now is executing the tough mid-range shots and knocking them down at a high percentage. And that's what makes him such a tough player to defend, and why he's leading the Celtics and towards the top of the NBA in scoring. He's just doing it at such a high rate. He put up 32 points against the Magic last game, and I thought through most of the game they did a great job on him, and he was just hitting some tough shots.
Yeah.
But I think the key number with him is going to be keeping that three-point percentage down.
Okay.
Because the last thing you want him to do is to start hitting from the outside and racking up even higher numbers.
Yeah, averaging 28 points per game, a little more than 5 rebounds. And I think that's big, too, when you talk about a team that is trying to figure out, too, how to play when you have your other star player, a player out. So, ultimately, you go into this game again. This time it's not an NBA Cup game, but it's still very important. How do you, if you're Coach Mosley, what do you say to your team that you could say differently to get them to bring out that same energy that they brought out on Saturday?
Well, I think, number one, last game was very emotional. One, you had the NBA Cup. Two, it's the first time you're seeing these guys since they eliminated you from the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think your message, if you're head coach Jamal Mosley, is, look, this is not a team that's used to losing twice in a row to an opponent. The Magic are just one of 2 teams, them and the Oklahoma City Thunder, with a winning record against the Celtics over the last couple of seasons. And so they're going to be out for revenge. So you have to be prepared for that, prepared for the type of energy level that a championship caliber team, regardless of who's out there or not, is going to bring, because that's the mentality of a Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
That's the mentality of a Peyton Pritchard, a Derek White, etc. These guys are seasoned and conditioned to rebound after losses, and the Magic have to be ready and prepared for that.
I said this game was on Saturday. You can tell my days are all mushed together. Friday. The game was on Friday. Because today's Sunday. Yes, today is
Let's
Sunday.
go! See, that's the type
I
of
love
energy
it.
you have to bring.
That's the energy. That's the energy. We love when Jeff Turner comes to this one. And so let's get to your storylines for tonight's
right.
game. So tell me, what are you looking for when you're coming up with tonight's game?
Yeah, so number one, where they had a lot of success against Boston, is moving the basketball.
Okay.
We talked about 25-plus assists in the last 4 or 5 games. That's going to be a key mentality. Continue to move and play with that pace. Number 2, defend the three-point line, run them off that three-point line. The Magic held the Celtics to 37 three-point attempts. While that may sound like a lot, they're a team that usually puts up three-point attempts in the 40s, and they lead the NBA in that category. And while they're not shooting a high percentage, you don't want them to be the team that breaks out of their rut and starts to hit a rhythm again.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to limit in that area. And then on top of that, what they're going to have to do is limit Jaylen Brown. And I talked about that mid-range game of his. What the number they need to keep him to is that 1 for 6 from three-point range where he was last game. Stop him from getting to the basket. Don't foul. If he hits in the mid-range, you have to live with that. He scored 32 doing that, and the Magic won. And so that's what you want to play with, and hopefully he doesn't shoot as high a percentage from that mid-range.
It's hard to always duplicate and replicate what you're doing the night before. So, you definitely think he's going to come in aggressive because he's not going to want to lose twice. But you definitely imagine that everyone probably is going to be a little tired going into this game, but you're hoping that the Magic just have that much of an edge, because what I love about the Magic is the depth on this team, the bench for the Magic. You really do have guys that can just come in, help when needed, and I think that says a lot about what Jamal Mosley has been able to do to making sure his guys are always ready.
No question. And when we talk about a back-to-back set that's upcoming and preparing for, this is where you got to rely on guys playing a few more minutes. So whether it's Tristan Da Silva, Anthony Black, looking at Goga to spell Wendell against a team that's going to be aggressive and trying to get to the basket when they're not shooting from 3. Those are the guys you're going to have to lean on. And for the Orlando Magic, that's going to be big. And that's not even mentioning a guy like Jonathan Isaac, who you can look to in areas to defend a guy like Jaylen Brown.
No, without a doubt on that one. You know what I love when you're looking at the matchup and just kind of seeing the numbers and everything. This is a really good Boston Celtics team, but this is a really good Magic team as well that's figuring out the pieces to come together. One of the comments that were said was, I just saw it. We definitely have a chance to take them down. Again, we just have to push from the jump. That's what I want to talk to you about, because as we're winding time down, that's one thing I really want to talk with you about. Pushing from the start. How important is it for this team to set the tone early in this game and not play catch up?
No, I think that's a great point. This team plays so much better when they're playing from ahead, and that's because they're a team that's built to do that. They defend so well that they can break the morale of an opponent.
Yeah.
And so as much as it is important to push the pace offensively, I think where the team really has to set the tone out of the gate, and where they did a good job last game, is really get into the ball defensively and determine Boston's pace, slow them down, because when the Magic are at their best playing fast, it's when they're playing fast off turnovers and defensive stops.
Yeah.
So if you set the tone, get into the basketball early, cause some turnovers, and start playing fast, that can get the Boston Celtics out of sort a bit.
We didn't talk about Wendell, and that was one of the players I wanted to talk about, but Jay Curb just brought it up. Dez and Dell are beasts. Dell got stronger this season, it seems, and Dez has been like that. So, hey, man, the toughness, they just have to connect. I love that. But I do want to talk about Wendell. It does look like the way he's been protecting the rim. I mean, goodness gracious. This is what you wanted from him. And talking with him going into the season, a lot of it was his confidence, too. You know, he had the injury with his hand. He was trying to figure it out. You can tell he has a different mindset, a different motive going into this year. And you like what you're seeing with how aggressive he's being down low over here.
No, it's a great point, Kendra. I think what we've seen the best part of Wendell is, one, his rim protection has been good. He's among the best players in the NBA in rim defense percentage. And then I think on top of that, what I've liked about Wendell is even in some games where he's struggled in quarters 1 through 2 or 1 through 3, he's put together great fourth quarter performances. And I think that speaks to what you talked about, which is the growing confidence that he's playing with.
Yeah.
And that's something that you can't necessarily learn as your first, second, third year in the league. That's something that grows with time and is built through a lot of reps. I think with Wendell, we're starting to see that internal confidence where he knows, look, even if I don't have it going in the early stretch of the game, I could still make an impact down the stretch and be one of the guys that's dragged out to the podium post game.
No, I think every time I've seen him play, you can tell that he's in a position where, like, I want to say before, you could tell that things got to him a little bit more. This year, you're seeing a whole different attitude. You're seeing a whole different adjustment in how he handles certain things. He might be getting fouled, but he's like, you know what? I can still figure out a way to help this team out in different areas. I love that about him. I love that about this group. I think that it shows the growth, the maturity, and the way that they want to continue to be, because you can tell that they definitely understand we can get to the next level. They just have to figure out the best way how.
No, and no question. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize about Wendell is in the Magic's defensive schemes, a lot of pressure is put on that role. He's, required to switch out, sometimes guard smaller players.
Yeah.
He has to make tough decisions. And it's up to the guards, whether that be Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane, Anthony Black, to disrupt the ball pressure and really make it harder at the rim for guys to get there. So Dell isn't caught in those situations like we saw in Philadelphia, where he's having to make the decision, do I go out and flash and try to stop Tyrese Maxey, or go back to the rim and try to stop the alley-oop that could be there? So the guards have done a good job of stepping up in most of the last 4 games of doing that. They need to continue to do that for Wendell, because when they do, he can really shine.
Dan, before we go, I want to say you are popular on TikTok. Savage being a savage. I love
like
it.
that.
Also, someone saying these jerseys are so nice. I love that. The jerseys are good, but I love Savage being a savage. That's what we really want to hear. Well, that'll do it for us on Courtside Countdown, presented by Hard Rock Bet. I'm Kendra Douglas. That's Dan Savage. Now you can turn over to FanDuel Sports Network, your home for the Orlando Magic, and lock in with David Still, Dante Marcatelli, Q Richardson, JT, the whole gang. They're going to get you ready and prepared for the upcoming game as the Magic, they look to take down the Boston Celtics tonight before we are right back here tomorrow.
Do it again.
Do it again as they will take on the Portland Trail Blazers. But thank you guys so much for locking in with us and joining with us, and we will see you right back here tomorrow.
The nearest exit.